So, Kago, I got some news for you.
I'm ready.
I mean, I already told you, but for the sake of the video, I sent you something this morning, and I'm going to read it to you again. Because honestly, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
And that's Microsoft to acquire Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Holy shit. So Satya Nadella says the deal will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms. So he's big ballin' over here.
Metaverse Wars have begun, ladies and gentlemen.
They have.
In full swing.
We are in full swing. It is Facebook and Microsoft's swinging hands, man. They're trading blows.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. I think this is really, really good for the space.
I know. Competition is good.
Competition is good. Everyone was threatened by, not threatened, but a majority of people were definitely nervous about Facebook's placement and what they were going to be doing with the metaverse and having all this control. And now Microsoft said, hey, if you don't like it, you can use our services. And I mean, this is 70 billies, man. That's a conversation starter.
Oh, yeah. And just in the terms of acquisitions, I know I kind of sent you an article earlier when we read the news, just like give you guys an idea of like how big of an acquisition this is for 70 billion. So they're making Disney moves in terms of acquisition volume. Like Disney bought Marvel and Lucasfilms for about 4 billion a piece.
Yep.
If you think about that, like the MCU is a huge profitable piece of Disney's company right now. They bought that for 4 billion. They bought all of Hulu, like all the rights to using Hulu as a service for 10 billion. They bought Pixar for 7.
Pixar for 7.
Yeah. And then Fox, the Fox acquisition, which at the time was one of the biggest business acquisitions of all time, was 70 billion. So, you know, Microsoft kind of just threw down that kind of like acquiring Fox as a media company type of money, but for gaming entertainment for the metaverse.
Absolutely. 100%. They really, yeah. I think this is one of the biggest tech acquisitions ever. I can't think of something.
Yeah. I can't think of anything bigger in tech.
Anything, maybe at least in consumer and entertainment tech. Yeah, I don't think there's anything bigger than this. This is astounding, for sure. I mean, Microsoft definitely was saying, you know, hey, youngins over at Facebook, like you may have all these users and you may have disrupted the tech space, but we've been around since the beginning, and we're here to show our colors for sure.
Oh yeah, no, Microsoft is in terms of tech, they are old money in tech. They've been around since the beginning, and it's just they're flexing their muscles now. They're like, look, we have the infrastructure, we got the software, the hardware, we got the connects, we got the business models. We know what we're doing.
Yeah,
$70 billion,
$70 billion, dude. So yeah, I know. What does this mean for the metaverse and all of these different IPs? You know, does this mean we're gonna get Metaverse World of Warcraft, Metaverse Diablo, Metaverse Call of Duty? Like are we gonna start getting virtual reality experiences and metaverse content in all those places? I don't know. That's exciting.
I know. I mean, it's really opened up the possibility of like, you know, instead of having to do kind of indie developed metaverse experiences, it's nice to see that like huge familiar IPs are going to be jumped into the space quicker than they would if they were developed individually, right? Like if we had to wait for Blizzard and Activision to kind of make something and like get into the metaverse space, it's going to take way longer than just somebody like Microsoft just acquiring them and being like, hey, we can just push in a bunch of money in development and just speed into getting you into this. Because like if we, like for example, if you wanted like a, you know, virtual World of Warcraft, Blizzard would have to develop that all in-house and have to be a whole thing that would take years. Especially the way like Blizzard develops, like how slow they develop, we wouldn't see that until like 2072.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. You and me, we're big Diablo fans, and we're never gonna get that game. Well, now maybe, man, we'll get it real soon.
Now, I know, yeah. Maybe Diablo 4 actually come out. Maybe.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, the verbiage that they're using with, you know, throwing the word metaverse out there is like, you know, and we're seeing that in the title of articles. That's, again, I've already said it, but it's just they intentionally acquired this for the metaverse, and they may not use that IP for metaverse stuff. They'll just throw it in their Game Pass, but they're going to use all of that gaming research, all the development time that Activision and Blizzard have put together to create gaming experiences, in a metaverse-like environment. So,
well, now, I mean, since you've acquired those companies, you can just prioritize their development, right? Like, you get to pick and choose and prioritize what games they develop. You look at it, Microsoft already has a flourishing game development studio. It's not like they needed new game devs. They have a bunch of studios that they already own. So acquiring Blizzard and Activision, you could literally just be like, hey, I'm turning you guys into just a metaverse gaming division. That's all you work on. Everybody else is going to be working on conventional gaming. You guys are the metaverse gaming developing team. Which is huge because these are two massive companies and like game development companies. The quality would be exceptional.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like we mentioned this on our pilot episode where we thought we were really excited for Activision or EA, even though they're these big kind of. You even said in the episode, "Fuck those companies," but you still would like to see them attempt something at the metaverse. And now, Microsoft said, "Bet,
bet, here we go."
It did that. And something to add to this, and I was mentioning this to you earlier, is I was listening to another podcast. I think it was called the Metaverse Podcast. I think that's literally all it's called. I'd like to shout them out because I really like their content. So I'll put it up here. But he was interviewing someone who had worked in this space for a long time. I think he was involved with Sandbox or Decentraland, one of those experiences. And he made a really good point that he thinks Facebook's not necessarily going to fail, but they're not going to succeed as much as they're claiming. And his big reasoning for that was because, unlike Microsoft, they've always acquired companies that had services, and they've never built anything on their own. They acquired Instagram, they acquired WhatsApp, they just bought Oculus, made some good hardware, but their software has always been lacking. And there's this guy, I forgot his name, but the guy was just arguing that Facebook isn't creative. They really don't have the creativity, at least right now, to be creating these kind of experiences. And so Microsoft, they have years of background in gaming. I mean, they made the Xbox, and they have their own. They have Microsoft Studios. They've been doing their own games for years. And now they're acquiring these gaming companies that have the expertise already baked in. So I'm really excited. Yeah, to see all this.
It was just it's like you look at Microsoft. If we just heard today, if the announcement was Microsoft themselves are investing billions of dollars in their own company for metaverse stuff, that alone that announcement alone is enough to be like, oh wow, you've really shaken up the space because of all the reasons you just mentioned. Like Microsoft is already has huge gaming experience, hardware experience, software experience, like so many things that's already enough to shake up the industry. But the fact that they didn't do that, they just added to their already massive portfolio and skill set by acquiring two of the biggest companies in gaming to just then be like, hey, we can already make really good metaverse experiences on our own, but let's just buy you guys. So now we just can't fail. Like we've covered all bases.
Right.
It's done. And I think you were mentioning this earlier, like what can Facebook even do to acquire, like there's no gaming industries to acquire at this point to compete.
Exactly.
Except build it in-house, and like Facebook can't make games.
Yeah.
Good ones at least.
Well, I mean, and they'll get they'll get better at it eventually. But right now, like if we're talking like the birth of the metaverse, they don't have that expertise at all.
At all, yeah.
Or experience in general. So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah. But as you were saying that, I just thought of something back to World of Warcraft. One of the big things about Metaverse is the instancing, right? One of the big problems with the Metaverse is instancing more than 100 or so people in one server instance. So, World of Warcraft, I can't think of a company better at dealing with massive amounts of players than World of Warcraft. I don't think any MMO has hit peak users than World of Warcraft in its prime.
Yeah. I mean, that's insane. Yeah, that's
all of that IP, dude, all that intellectual property, and all that research around that and the server dynamics. That could be really impactful on not just Microsoft but everyone else.
Oh no, for sure. Especially because if you think about it, like World of Warcraft itself was kind of like a proto metaverse, right?
Mhm.
You just had large community building in a virtual space, very well instanced areas where they had hundreds of users all together all at once. It's almost like it was built for this. It's like this
Yeah.
is the next evolution of what World of Warcraft would be. Is kind of what these tech companies are moving towards. It's almost too perfect.
I know it really is. You know, because you and I were big MMO fans in the day, MMORPGs, and it's kind of died off. Like there's still some popular ones. Final Fantasy 14 is pretty popular. World of Warcraft still has a dedicated fan base. You know, and not all games are dead, but definitely not like prime World of Warcraft time. And everyone when we were like in high school, everyone was playing it. It didn't matter if you were a nerd, a jock, just everyone loved that game and was playing it. And yeah, I think we're going to see that again. We might see that again, but in a virtual environment. And
I know.
It might
I think
be
this
because
is
of this
what
acquisition. So
this is what every MMO fan back in our era wanted. Like this is the push, right?
right,
Where it's like this is just the community engagement that you get from MMOs is going to be tenfold in a virtual environment. Where especially when you talk about NFTs and all sorts of stuff, when we have virtual items you can acquire and then sell and trade these different goods that are also one of ones, and like it's just it's everything. It's perfect that it's everything perfect that people have been wanting for MMOs, and this is just the platform to just do it the best way you can. And I'm just so excited to see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
But I'm still stuck on the thought of $70 billion. I was reading that Microsoft had they were trying to invest about 130 billion into just like type of like, you know, like commercial or communications based products and companies that they're looking to acquire. I think they're looking to acquire like TikTok at one point. They're looking to acquire Discord. That was another conversation that Microsoft was having, trying to buy Discord. But out of that bucket, they just said, you know what, we're going to use half of it to just buy Activision Blizzard. Like, you know what, this is more important. This is where this is like the primary of where our budget's going to go. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It is absolutely insane. So, really exciting stuff over here in the metaverse space. You know, if you weren't taking it seriously now, you might as well do it because $70 billion, man.
I know. And on top of whatever, you know, Meta said they were investing, formerly Facebook. I forgot what the number they threw out in their keynote. But like, we're talking about close to hundreds of billions of dollars now in this space. Like people are investing, large companies are doing it. So it's no longer like, oh, we'll see. It's like it's a fad. No, it is not. It is not.
Yeah, what you said earlier, you know, Facebook's like, we're going to spend hundreds of billions over the next few years, and on a Tuesday afternoon, Microsoft said, slap 70 billion on the table. God. So yeah.
Forget over a few years. We're doing it this afternoon. Here you go, 70. We're starting now. I'm not waiting.
Yeah. So really exciting stuff. I can't wait to see more, man. And we'll be here coming at you with all the news that we get, talking about it. I'm sure things are going to be changing here in the next few hours, probably, if not a few days. So
I'm expecting to see more and more news come out throughout the week. I know other companies are probably going to see this news and be like, all right, we got to jump in. So
yeah, it's our turn.
Expecting some big stuff. Yep.
And then and then Apple near the end of the year. Maybe they'll bump up their announcement. We'll see.
Oh yeah, this could maybe push Apple to be like, okay,
and their headset,
we gotta get our stuff out soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Well, thanks everyone for watching. This is a shorter segment on our channel. We have a podcast that we usually go in depth on a multitude of topics. You can watch our pilot episode. I'll link it somewhere around here. Please check it out, and make sure to check our Discord. Join that. It's a small but slowly growing community. And follow us on social media. We'll link that down in the description, and hope to see you guys in the next one.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.